Welcome to The Explainer. In software development, there's the code you write, and then there's the story you tell with that code. That story, well, it's the unspoken language that really separates the good coders from the truly great collaborators. And today, we're going to learn how to speak it fluently. So, let me ask you a question. If your code is the what, how do you actually communicate the why and the how to your team, or even to your future self? That's exactly what we're going to break down today.
Here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we're going to learn how to be a skilled interpreter, decoding the work of others. Then you'll become an effective author, leaving a clear trail for anyone who follows. And finally, we'll step into the role of a project historian, mastering the tools that tell our code's story.
All right, so let's dive right in. Our journey kicks off with the absolute foundational skill of understanding the work that came before us. And listen, this isn't just about staring at code. It's about really mastering the blueprints, the technical docs like APIs and project READMEs that are your map for any new project.
Yeah, the thing about professional documentation is that it speaks in commands, not suggestions. The language is super direct and authoritative on purpose. So your job is to hunt down these imperative verbs, these action words that basically form a precise recipe for getting things done.
And what's so powerful about this is that these verbs, they basically create a universal grammar for developers everywhere. Doesn't matter if you're on an open source project or a massive enterprise system, words like install, configure, execute, and verify mean the exact same thing. And that shared language is what makes collaborating on a global scale even possible.
Okay, so let's move on to the next stage and see how this all connects. Now that you know how to read the map someone else left behind, it's your turn to start adding to it. And the most fundamental way we do that is with clear, intentional code comments. Okay, this slide right here, it gets to the absolute heart of what makes a good comment. Think about it this way. Your code already explains the what. A bad comment just repeats the what. But a good comment, that's the director's commentary. It reveals the why. Why was this decision made? What's the hidden context? That's the stuff that turns confusing code into a clear story.
All right, so if you want to take your comments from just being helpful notes to being real professional communication, you can use these standardized tags. It's basically an industry-wide shorthand that instantly tells any other developer what's going on with a piece of code.
And this table, man, it really shows just how powerful this shared language can be. You see a simple / to do, implement user profiles, and boom, your team knows exactly what's next. A / fix, bug 123, creates a direct link to your issue tracker. And a / danger, do not modify without consulting the security team. That could prevent a major disaster. This isn't just commenting. This is communication with surgical precision.
Okay, so now we're zooming out. We're moving from the little stories inside our code comments to the big picture, the entire project's narrative. This is where we get to be historians, using tools like Git to write the official story of how our code evolves over time.
Look, your commit message is so much more than just a chore you have to do before you can push your code. You got to think of it as an entry in the project's official history log. It's a permanent record of what changed and, just as important, why it changed.
The best teams out there, they get that consistency is everything. This simple two-step format is pretty much the gold standard. The type acts as a quick category, letting you filter the project history. The subject gives you that quick summary so you can understand the change without even reading the code. Together, they turn your project history from just a messy log into this searchable, understandable database of every single decision that was made. It's huge.
And here we go, a perfect example. Right off the bat, we know two things. The type is feat, so it's a brand new feature. And the subject tells us exactly what it is, the user authentication service. It's clean, it's clear, and it tells you everything you need to know in just one line. That's it.
Now, if you want to be a real player in this whole collaborative story, you absolutely have to be fluent in the language of Git. Terms like commit, branch, merge, and pull request, these are the verbs and nouns of modern software development. Seriously, mastering this vocabulary is just fundamental for working on a team today.
Okay, let's bring this all home. We've talked about how to read documentation, write meaningful comments, and craft clear commits. Every one of these skills, it's a step on the path from just being a coder who works alone to becoming a collaborator that people can't work without, a true professional communicator.
So if there's one thing you take away from this, let it be this. Communication isn't some soft skill for developers. No, it's a core competency. Reading docs well, that makes you fast. Writing good comments, that makes your code last.
And sharing your work with clear commits, well, that makes your whole team stronger. Mastering these skills is what really defines the impact of your work.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a challenge. The next time you type git commit, don't just think about what you're changing. Think about what you're communicating. Are you just, closing a ticket, or are you actually writing a clear, compelling chapter in your project's story? The choice is all yours. Thanks for tuning in.